Hello. Hello, dear student. Please confirm whether my voice is audible or not. Hello. Hello, dear student. Please confirm. Hello, dear student. So, hello, dear student. A very good morning to all of you. Hope you all are doing well. So, dear student, today we are going to discuss about 12th August, the Hindu newspaper analysis. So, first important question is how you can get this highlighted version of newspaper so that you can complete it in just 45 minutes instead of spending 3 hours. You can simply scan this QR code to download our application, and there you'll find the premium infographics edition. So, price is 300 rupees per year, which is less than 1 rupee per day. So, you can get it, and you can also join our Telegram to get daily current affair, MCQ, free MCQs, and lot of daily questions or answer writing question we are providing on a daily basis. Okay. And the discussion basically focus on how we are going to use each and every newspaper article that is given in paper, in either in prelims, mains, or interview. Which portion is important and what kind of possible question they can ask either in your prelims or either in your mains. Okay, so everything I'm going to explain to you in detail. So first one is nuclear threat is Pakistan's stock in trade center. So we have know that repeatedly whenever Pakistan they face the threat, whenever they cannot able to defeat, or whenever they are facing the threat of defeat, simply use the nuclear rhetoric to internationalize the issue. Same thing happened recently. The Pakistan Field Marshal Asif Munir visited the USA, and they are talking about the Pakistan Army Chief Field Marshal Asif Munir latest nuclear threat represent Pakistan stock in trade. So this is what said by Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson. Sharp response from the ministry come after the Field Marshal Munir during his latest visit to the USA met leading member of the US Central Command and Pakistan. So there the Pakistan said that in case of there is an existential threat to the Pakistan, it will use the nuclear weapon and not only cause the damage to the Pakistan, it will take along with large half of the world also. So that is what the blackmail USA, sorry, this is what the blackmail, nuclear blackmail is done by the Pakistan Army chief on USA soil. Just you can imagine what kind of person. So nuclear sovereignty in Pakistan stock in trade, the international community can draw its own conclusion, irresponsibility inherent in the such remark, which also reinforce the well-held doubt about the integrity of nuclear command. So we are also questioning whether the nuclear command that is being under the control of Pakistan, whether it is under the control of army or it is controlled by the terrorist. If it is fall into the hand of the terrorist, so they can attack any country, they can create blackmail also. Okay, so that is what the news. So next is airstrike by the Israel kill military airstrike by the Israel military kill Al Jazeera correspondent in Gaza. So this is first time uh, the news correspondents or news reporter are being killed by the Israel attack on the Gaza, or you can say Palestine. So you know that the conflict is going on for last 22 months. So in that conflict, more than 60,000 people have been died because relentlessly bombing by the Israel to completely destroy the Hamas and took control over the Palestinian territory. So next important is the opposition leader March Election Commission office seeking rollback of the special intensive revision, call it vote theft by the government. So recently, I think you all know that the special intensive revision drive is being held in the Bihar Assembly, and after that, it is found that 65 lakh people name are excluded from this drive. So, so the opposition party they consider it as a deliberate attempt to elimination of this some name from the voter, so that the in next election, so ruling party is going to get more favorable voting in their favor. So next is fishing boat anchor in the Rameswaram fishing jetty Monday following indefinite strike against the continued arrest of Sri Lankan fishermen. So if you look into, I'm just going to show you about the map, so have a look about it. So here you can see about, this is what the India and Sri Lanka boundary. So here this, there is a small island named Kacha Thibu. So Kacha Thibu, India given these islands to Sri Lanka under the International Maritime Agreement. So after that, it is given permission. Indian fishermen can fish in this region. But what happened recently, repeatedly, the Sri Lankan, you can say the Coast Guard and Navy, they repeatedly arrest the Indian fishermen. They confiscate their boating, boat, and that is what led to the suffering of the farmer, suffering of the fishermen. So to overcome this arrest, so recently Sri Lankan, recently Tamil Nadu fishermen, they have protested against this such repeated arrest. Na? So Supreme Court order capture of the stray dog in Delhi and say never let them back on the street. So recently we have seen all over the India. So there is a two types of movement is going on. On the one end, we have seen that stray dog, they are being, they are killing so many people on a daily basis. Even the infant children are being killed and lynched to death by this stray dog. On the other hand, there are people who are supporting the any action taken against the stray dog. So that is the reason Supreme Court in the favor of that. Let's say this is the NCR Delhi, so we can establish some enclaves. Here, dogs can be provide food and within a restricted enclosure so that their welfare can be ensured. So facing backlash, the Punjab government withdrew the land pooling policy. Farmer opposition welcomed the move. So recently, Punjab government started a policy. You know, so Aam Aadmi Party government on Monday announced the withdrawal of the Punjab land pooling policy after it draw severe opposition from the different quarters. So Punjab and Haryana High Court has August 7 stay the policy given the Andhra Pradesh AAP government for 4 week time to reply. The court observed that the policy prima facie appeared to have been notified in haste. That means the policy is implemented without due consideration. So under the policy, over 65 acre were to be acquired and state government termed it as a farmer friendly. However, opposition termed it as a land grabbing. So because of this opposition, so land pooling means what? I'm just giving you a rough idea. Let's say this is a let's say we are planning to establish a new cities here, and let's say this city, the land is belongs to the people. So we can collect the all the land of the farmer. Let's say these are the farmer, the circle, small circle. So we can acquire their land and we'll develop this area as a big urban metropolitan area. And return, instead of giving this full land, we can give this much of land to the developer so that they let's say before this development the land price, let's say 20 lakhs. So after the development the land price will be 1 crore. So they will also get the benefit and government is also get the land. So that is what called land pooling model. So this is being used in urban development. So BJD to move High Court over Election Commission unsatisfied reply on the vote count. So recently, you can say a dispute emerged. That is, BJD claimed that the total election that is found in the EVM is more than the total vote polled in the election during the election. So Biju Janata Dal on Monday announced move to the Odisha High Court, saying that the Election Commission has failed to provide satisfactory reply on its formal allegation on discrepancy observed in the vote counting in 2024 Assembly in Lok Sabha. So the number of vote counted exceeding the number of vote recorded in EVM in all parliamentary constituencies. So number of people voted, and if you count the vote in the EVM, it is seen that EVM shows more result. So that means BJD accused that there might be some manipulation, and that is the reason. So after scheduled closing of the polling, additional vote ranging from 7% as high as 30%. So 7 to 30% range of additional vote are being found, later being updated. So that is the reason opposition are accusing the election commission may favoring the ruling political party, that is BJP. So this is a high time because our election commission at this moment is facing a lot of credibility issue. So rather than suppressing and starting a criminal case against the opposition or those who are opposing, it should be the high time and open everything to the public and make that the election trust on the election commission of India should be restored in this moment of time. So two language policy to be applicable 90% of the Karnataka school panel. So under the national education policy, we are planning to have 3 language policy. But Karnataka is going ahead with the 2 language policy, that is English and Kannada. Okay. So Axiom 4 crop seeded under the study in Kerala. So during our mission of Subhanshu Shuklaji to Axiom 4 International Space Station, we have exposed some of our seeds to the microgravity and radiations. So after we return back from to Earth, so we are planning to cultivate and see how they are going to. Hello, Seher. Hello everyone. Hope everyone is good. My voice is audible. So once again, very good morning to all of you. So dear student, चलिए, so so now so we have brought back all these seeds from the microgravity and the International Space Station. So now we are going to cultivate. It has been seen that if you expose the seeds in the microgravity environment and radiation, so yield on this crop is gradually increasing. In past also they have seen. So India is experimenting on that. On the basis of this experiment, we can extend it further. Okay. So next is Uttarakhasi flash flood, 43 still missing, over 1,300 rescue from the disaster spot in Dharali. देखो, this is very important for your disaster management. There is a topic called disaster management. So if you have to give some example, you can write this example. Na? And second one is you also need to understand the Uttarakhand is very much prone to the disaster because of ecological fragility and the geological structure of it. So that is what very much important. So Uttarakasi district administration said that 43 still missing and spot this location, and they've rescued a lot of people. So there is a disaster that is happening 2013 Kedarnath disaster. So many people have been died. So just you need to know about disaster is happening which location and what are the consequences, because multiple times they've asked you it. Okay. So next is Fatehpur Sikri. So we are not concerning about all this political news. What is our concern is Fatehpur Sikri. So you have to study about the Fatehpur, why Fatehpur is famous and what are the monuments available in the Fatehpur. So this is what important for our examinations. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So Supreme Court junks the plea against ban on the feeding pigeon. So Jane Monk, one of the states. So recently what happened, the Bombay High Court, they issue an order to start criminal proceeding for those who are feeding the pigeon. So why this drastic step is being initiated by the Brihat Mumbai Municipal Corporation? Because if you are, let's say this is a very populated region. If you are establish a kabutar khana and feeding this, the pigeon, so in case of any viral disease, so it can rapidly, bird flu can rapidly spread not only to the bird, to the human being, that can damage severely to the people. So that is the reason. So there is a ban on kabutar khana, but people are violating that ban and still establishing their kabutar khana and feeding them. So that is the reason the High Court asked the BMC to take very strict action in the Mumbai. But some community like Jain community, they believe that feeding everyone, no one should go hunger. So that is the reason Jain community believe that it is their moral responsibility to feed this pigeon. So they are saying if it is implemented, then we'll start protesting all over the India. So that is what the news is. Okay. So now we are seeing two things. One is human health versus right of animal. It can be seen in the case of pigeon also. It can be seen in the case of stray dog also. So both case there is a conflict. So you have to be very much aware, to very much understand, so that you can take a stand in it. Na? चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So next is the peacock feather can behave like a small laser, researcher says. So the peacock tail feather are famous. Feather means this one. The peacock feather means this one. The tail, it is just expanding. So the peacock tail feather are famous for their shimmering eye spot and featuring packed with microscopic rods, layers that reflect certain color, but not other. Recent studies, scientists from the three university of USA have found that when peacock feather are soaked in a common laser dye called rhodamine 6G, so feather inner structure behave like a laser cavity, bouncing light back and forth, amplifying before it letting escape to the outside. So the peacock feather can emit narrow beam of light like a laser. So the peacock feather can behave like a laser. So this is what you just need to know. No need to go in detail. We are not concerned about it. So next is landmark study offer new insights into what protect against the dengue. So recent time we have seen that so many dengue cases are happening in particularly India, and because of that so many people are dying. So that is the reason dengue can be, that can be a very good question. UPSC, it can ask about virus, can ask about what kind of vaccine is currently development, what kind of symptoms. So you have to study in detail about the dengue. So developing a universal vaccine is challenging due to complex immunomechanism, and dengue virus cause the initial immunity after first infection increase the risk of severe disease rather than confirming the protection when person infected in the second time. देखो, what happening in normal case, let's say polio. or any case, let's say if you are giving vaccinations to a people, so let's say in first time you are given the vaccination, so this people will develop the immunity. And next time if there is a polio virus attack, so immediately the you can say the immunity will kill this polio virus, and the person will immunized or saved from the polio. But in case of dengue, what happening in dengue case mein, so in dengue, let's say first this person is infected with dengue, and or you can given the vaccination of dengue. If later on this person is again infected with a different type of serotype of this dengue, so then the immune response that is going to create against this person, instead of helping, will create severity for that person. That is the reason it is very difficult to design a dengue vaccine without incorporating all the serotypes. The specific component of the immune response in human body that protect against the dengue virus. Dengue virus is called DenV. Okay? DenV. So you have to remember. Infection and subsequent illness remain unclear. Scientists are still trying to understand how natural infection and vaccination protect people so that they can develop better vaccines. So how vaccination is helpful in protecting humans. So you can see about, let's say this is a person. First, we have given its vaccine. So once you have given the vaccine, that means this is a virus. We have just introduced some virus into this body. सो ये जो करंट अफेयर है, ये हमारा लाइव हम करते हैं अराउंड 9 AM। सो डियर स्टूडेंट, हम इसको कोशिश करते हैं कि 8:30 से स्टार्ट करके 9, मतलब 8:30 के अराउंड कोशिश करते हैं स्टार्ट करने में। सो डेली डेली ये होती है, सो यू कैन वॉच दैट ऑल्सो। सो सम टाइम लेट हो जाती है, लेट होगी तो हम आपको यूट्यूब में भी थोड़ा 30 मिनट्स पहले आपको मैसेज करवा देते हैं, ठीक है। सो प्लीज नोटिफिकेशन को ऑन करके रखिए एंड ग्रेजुअली विल स्टेबलाइज इट। ओके, सो देखो, डेंगू, मान लीजिए कोई एक इंसान को पहले हमने क्या किया, वैक्सीन दे दिया। वैक्सीन देने के बाद जस्ट मीन्स वी आर इंट्रोड्यूसिंग वायरस इनटू दैट बॉडी, एंड बॉडी विल प्रोड्यूस सम immunity to kill that virus, and after killing, the body immunity also remember this virus type, ठीक है। And later on, whenever there is a same infection happen, then body again produce the immunity in a large quantity and immediately neutralize this. This is what happen in case of normal infections. So this study has revealed the important insight into developing strong immunity across the dengue, means dengue virus, which is otherwise quite complex. So the identified specific antibodies such as envelope, dimer, epitope. So you have to remember envelope, dimer, epitome. So they can ask about, recently the envelope, dimer, epitome is seen in news related to what. So here you have to talk about what it is. Okay. So next is like antibody, they are building brand across following the natural infection or vaccination. So disease burden and dengue vaccine. So you know that now majority of world, particularly the South America, Africa, and India is suffering from this dengue virus. So dengue virus is infected by 4 serotypes. That is, serotype means a different strain. For example, in human, we have seen how different race, like Negredo race, then Mongoloid race, then Australoid race, then different race. So same time it's called serotype. So it is the most common vector-borne disease with half of the world population risk, especially the Southeast Asia, Africa, and America. According to one large study in 2030, so economic burden of dengue in Southeast Asia higher than the 30 other conditions, including Japanese encephalitis. So that means dengue burden is quite high as compared to 70 next same kind of conditions. Okay? So yet developing a universal effective vaccine have proven difficult thanks to the complex immunomechanism involved. So despite the dengue is so impactful to the health, you can see about so many people are died because of the dengue. So we are not able to develop proper dengue vaccine because dengue cases, so initial immunity after first infection paradoxically increase risk of severe disease rather than confirming protection when person infected second time. Let's say a person is infected first time, and that led to the development of immunity in the body, and whenever there is a second time infection, instead of it is helping, it is actually creating more trouble for us, na? So that is what the problem. This phenomenon called antibody dependent enhancement occurring when not neutralizing antibody bind to a particular immature virus particle, facilitating their entry into immunocells and worsening the infection. All severe dengue case required hospitalization resulting such infection. So that means in second infection, instead of helping our immunity, it is actually making very much severe. So that is the reason it is very difficult to design or invent, or you can say make vaccine. So since vaccine mimic the natural infection, Risk of antibody dependent enhancement after first dose is main challenge for dengue vaccine, which is why usually recommend only after individual with prior exposure to the virus avoided dengue native peoples. Okay? So I think we just need to know about this. That is the reason we are not yet able to develop the dengue vaccine. So no vaccine we can develop a lot of things, but not everything we can able to develop. This is the reason. So next is Philippines will be pulled into any war over the Taiwan. So despite China protests, this is what said by the Marcos. So you know that in South China Sea, if you look into the South China Sea, you can find here. So this is Vietnam, this is Malaysia, Philippines. So China is having war with this is Taiwan having conflict, not war in conflict with all the states on the Sparkly Island, Parcel Island, Scarborough Shoal. So China is claiming everything on the basis of 9 dash line 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the basis of 9 dash line, Chinese is claiming the entire South China Sea. So that is the reason. So there is a conflict among these states. Na? So stage dangerous blocking maneuver. So recently what happened? So the Chinese Coast Guard ships chase dangerously maneuver to the Philippine ship. Chinese ships they simply wreak damage to the all the ship. They attack the ships of Philippines and other power in the South China Sea just to project their power. Okay. So Australia will recognize Palestinian state at United Nations General Assembly. So now lot of particularly the Western country who are in favor of Israel now supporting openly the Palestinian cause because the action of the Israel mercilessly killing the people, those who are for humanitarian art actually make it the turn the table against the Israel. Now even the UK, French, Australia, so Canada, they are opposing, they are in favor of creation of Palestinian state. Okay. So you can see here. So two-state solution is humanity-based hope to break the cycle of violence in the Middle East, West Asia, bring to an end to the conflict, suffering, starvation in the Gaza. Australia will recognize the right of the Palestinian people to state their own. We will work with the international community to make a right a reality. Australia's decision was predicated on the reassurance from the Palestinian Authority that no role for the terrorist Hamas in the Palestinian Authority. So Australia support in return for there is assurance from the Palestinian Authority that Hamas, the terrorist organization operating in the Gaza Strip, they have no role in the government organization. So UN media group condemned the Israel fatal attack on Al Jazeera news team. So recently in Israel attack, one journalist is killed. So because of that, media UN media wing they condemned it. So next is Trump tariff impact affordable housing. So lenders stare at defaulter because recently Donald Trump severe tariff on different sector that is going to impact the MSME sector. If MSME sector is impacted, so MSME sector basically driven the small, these affordable housing sector. So if MSME sector is not going to perform well, so that might impact our affordable sector. So dear student, my voice is audible or not? Please comment. And what kind of things you are looking from me, you can also comment. So accordingly we'll make like everything is okay or what kind of discussion. So if you want anything, just comment in the comment box. Accordingly we'll make. Look for market other than the USA and add value center tell the fish exporter. So recently we have seen Donald Trump impose 25% and again 25% in addition to 20, total 50%. So government is talking about our fish exporter need to diversify their basket, not only look as a US as a market. Seafood exporter and other stakeholder sought the Union government interventions to address tariff barrier in major markets such as USA as seafood export met. So talking on the report after the meeting, Union Ministry of Fishery, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, they said that ministry would assist exporter to find alternative markets. So our government will help to find the alternative market like European Union, Japan, South Korea, UK, Russia, Australia, West Asia, Southeast Asia. Many countries are available for export of Indian seafoods. So rather than depending only on the USA, we need to diversify our export basket. So, and center head also ask the exporter to face the challenges bravely. Sometime in your life, challenges might come, but we need to accept these challenges and move ahead. Then only we'll ensure our victory. So, non-tariff barrier, the exporter also pointed out the non-tariff barrier in this country, like in terms of the testing, third-party clearance, okay? So gap in the cold chain. So that is what the problem we are facing. So China is the second largest importer of Indian fish, followed by Japan and Vietnam. So USA is the largest. USA is the largest. We are importing largest number of seafood to the USA. So according to the official statistics from 2023, USA has been major importer of Indian seafood in value term. 1 second, dear student. Really sorry, dear. I'm really sorry because of some emergency. So I have to leave. So according to the official statistics from 2023 and 24, the US has been major importer of seafood in value term with import worth of 2.5 billions, accounting for around 35%. And this is followed by China and then Japan. So ONGC plan to invest 4,600 crore in the KG basin. So you have to understand the KG basin means Krishna and Godavari basin. So there is a high chance, there they can found a lot of oil and gas. So that is helpful for reducing our reliant. So if you look, 85% of our oil we export from, sorry, we import from all over the world. 85% of our oil we import and 50% of our gas we import. So if we are producing something in domestically, so that is what going to helpful in reducing our dependency na. चलिए, so use of EVM suggested for election in the cooperative. So in cooperative sector, if there is any election, so we can use EVM there. So in call with Zelensky, Prime Minister seek peaceful settlement of Ukraine and Russia conflict. So recently our Prime Minister held a discussion both with the Russia and Ukraine. So there our Prime Minister insisted that, both countries should find a solution peacefully so that it is helpful for the both the countries. And in this discussion, our Prime Minister also emphasized that if any peace talk that is, peace or any peace talk that is being going on, Ukraine should party to it, because whenever if conflicting between Russia versus Ukraine, so then Ukraine should be party to this discussion. Now the discussion only is going to held between Russia and USA in the Alaska. So here Ukraine need to be invited. At the same time, Ukraine requested India to stop it buying the Russian oil, because this buying is helpful, because this is what helpful for the Russia to meet its war effort. So next is rift between two blocks continue in Geneva plastic treaty negotiation. So dear student, you have to remember it very carefully, because the Geneva plastic treaty. So they can ask about the recently the plastic treaties happen at which location. So it is in Geneva. So this can be a prelims questions. So while one group of country bats for production cost to reduce pollution, other group says that issue can be addressed through waste management. The plastic manufacturing industry has moved from Europe to South and Southeast Asia. So if you look into the plastic manufacturing ecosystem at this moment, so they are moving from developed country to developing country, like USA and European Union. So gradually they are moving plastic manufacturing to India, Asia, and Latin America. And the treaty to ban the plastic, so it is divided at the international level on the two ground. Is led by one is led by the country. They are called it as a high ambition coalitions, and second, they are talking about elimination of plastic from manufacturing itself. Second group is called like-minded country. Basically they are comprising of the crude oil producing country. So they are manufacturer of the crude oil, so they have huge plastic, so they are in favor of management of the West. So India is in favor of like-minded countries. Okay, just remember. So they ask something about high ambition coalition, like-minded country are quite seen in news related to what. So this kind of question already UPSC asked in previous. So you can expect this kind of question in future also. Thank you, thank you. Please keep informing about that whether my voice is audible or not always. Okay. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं फिर ना. So the deadlock between the two blocks of the country on best way to contain the plastic pollution mirror a shift in global plastic and polymer manufacturing industry. So which move out of the Europe and drifted towards Asia and Southeast Asia. So here one good pattern you can understand. So all these European country, all these EU country once used to be a polluter. Now they are outsourcing their pollution industry to Asia, and so that they can blame that Asia is responsible for all this pollution. Just you can see all this pattern also. Since 2020, United Nations Environmental Program has been spearheading effort to countries to resolve or consensus binding treaty that commit to address the plastic pollution, land as well as ocean. So you know that the plastic is ubiquitous. It is creating a lot of problem in our environment. So that is the reason United Nations Environmental Program recently planned to start a treaty that is binding on everyone. So dear student, tell me in the comment box, headquarter of UNEP. So what is the headquarter of UNEP and when? Okay, okay, very good, very good. Yes, I'll just mention which part of the syllabus. Don't worry. Yes, I'll mention it. So, dear student, tell me, UNAP headquarter is established and at when it is established. Two things. Let me see how many of you know that. So, high ambition coalition chaired by the Norway. So they have talking about also the European Union. They are in favor of reducing the production of plastic itself. But another group is called like-minded countries, which include Iran, Saudi Arab, Kuwait, Bahrain, China, Cuba. So these are either crude oil producing country or refinery countries. So these countries want instead of phasing out the plastic, they're talking about management of the plastic waste. So counter that. So India is in favor of like-minded country. So fundamental rift between the two groups, that high ambition coalition says that plastic pollution cannot contain without imposing cut or capping the production of plastic. So like-minded countries says that plastic pollution can be addressed through the waste management and improving production cost only cause disruption in trade rather than meaningful reduction in the plastic use. Okay. So this is what the news is. Yes, yes, definitely. So this can be a very good article for your phasing out the plastic. So if any question related to environmental pollution, soil pollution, plastic pollution, you can talk about the plastic Geneva Plastic Treaty under the negotiation. So what are the outcome? You have to study it and you have to uh, you know uh, you have to study it and whenever mains question you can write it. So did Donald Trump panel slap panel tariff panel over the ceasefire credit? So recently our parliamentary panel, they ask question about the Ministry of External Affairs whether the Donald Trump imposed the 50% tariff because India not give credit to the Donald Trump for making peace or ceasefire between the India and Pakistan. So our Ministry of External Affairs, so they have said that our relationship is no doubt multifaceted. So USA India relationship was multifaceted and being just one of the many aspect. So trade is just one aspect. So you can see about our bilateral trade is 210 billions. So Mystery strongly refute recent report that India was planning to put a hold planning of weapons and aircraft. So India and USA defense cooperation continue before, as you told member, also curious to know about the impact. So that is what you can see about, our relation is bipartisan support, whichever party in power in the USA. So it can be Republican, Democrats in India also, whether it is Congress or BJP, we have maintained a very good relation with the USA. So no doubt there might some irritant and Donald Trump is known very well. So there is a very good comment that even Donald Trump, if China everything they get from the India and China. USA cannot survive without support from India and China. So they are using this as a pressure tactics, nothing else. So the panel wraps ministry for evasive reply on Manrega due. So parliamentary panel. So yeah, very good, very good. The headquarter of UNEP is Nairobi in Kenya. Very good. Seher Firdaus. Very good, very good. So, pulling off the Union Ministry of Rural Development for an evasive reply on its query on significant due of Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Yojana, Manrega. So, Parliamentary Standing Committee on Rural Development unfathomable how specific query of panel. Recently what happened, ministry is not giving proper reply to a query to the parliamentary panel. So you can see how parliamentary panel are powerful. So they are making our executive accountable. Okay. So big due. So central government is not yet giving the due. So you can see about 12,000 crore wages is spending and 11,000 material amount is spending. So that is what they are demanding. So here you can talking about, here it is related to our article, like, which part of newspaper, you can talk about how the policy of the international level that is impacting the Indian interest. So policy of the developed and developing country, how it is impacting India's interest. So here you can link that. So whenever you are talking about Indo-USA relationship, you can link this article. So here you can talking about, governance, how despite government is promising, Manrega timely delivery of the due, so it is not yet delivery. So it is the pending of, due. That is what creating lot of problem. Okay. So that is what it is important for our news. So why can't army deploy women to the fight terror? This is what asked by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court recently asked कि क्यों क्यों वुमेन को अलाउ नहीं करेंगे ताकि वो टेरर के साथ फाइट करे. Supreme Court on Monday asked why the army cannot deploy women officers to counter terror or insurgency in an emergency if other service such as Air Force sent women behind the enemy lines by fighter jets, helicopter, and parachute. So if Air Force is allowing women, so why Army cannot allow? So this is question is asking because there are repeatedly allegation by women that in our armed forces they are facing discrimination on the basis of gender. So policy bifurcating gender on the basis of gender and reserving more force for the men did not meet the standard of law. We have to ensure rule of law, no doubt. I'm not denying that it is the national security. We cannot driven by only sole the rule of law. We also need to be promote the women. If women are capable, if women are ready to sacrifice their life, we are ready to die. So who we are to oppose them? They are also having the nationalism also. They are also if ready to sacrifice their life, then we have to give them. So no nation can be secure when half of its population in women held back. So this is a very good quote. You can talk about essay. This is a very good quote. You can use, essay, conclusion, women empowerment related topics. No nation can be secure when half of its population, its women force it held back. Okay? So just imagine and just note down and you'll use in your mains answer writing. The quote said that the contention run contrary to the right of the women to form part of all combat armed forces in further violation of the right of women to treated equals in all aspects. So now this direction is violation of the right to equality. So deployment of army, besides court noted that 14 million. So we have 14 million armed forces. So out of that, if we are not giving equal opportunity to our women, so that is going to create a lot of challenges. So the Rajya Sabha returned the Manipur budget bill absent of the opposition. So you can see there is severe lapse when opposition is absent from the parliament. I don't think the government should pass a bill. So it's because we need to have healthy debate discussion in our parliament. Then only we can expect good result from our parliament. So now what is happening? Government is pushing the bill when parliament is not in session. That is the reason the bill are making in a flawed way. So its outcome is very flaw. So that is what happens. So even the opposition is accused that government is passing bill when parliament is not in session. So next important bill passed yesterday, Lok Sabha passed income tax bill, official power broadened. So the proposed law will allow officials to forcibly break into personal email, social account of assets during search operation. The revised version having 2.59 words compared to the 5.1.2 lakhs words in IT Act. So recently, our Lok Sabha passed the new Income Tax Act that aimed to replace the Income Tax Act of 1961. So Lok Sabha on Monday passed revised income tax bill. So the bill seeks to simplify, rationalize, and shorten the existing Income Tax Act. So Income Tax Act, if you have seen, it is around 60-year-old, and it has become quite complex for nowadays. So that is the reason we need a reform. So it has broadened the power of income tax officials, allowed them to forcibly break into personal email and social media account of the assets during the search operation. Now, even the income tax official have the power. They can access to your mail account, social media, may that WhatsApp, may that Facebook, Instagram, they can access to that also. So, that late, very good morning, dear student. I think learning through life. Very good morning. Hope you all are doing well and भगवान करे आप लोग अच्छे से पढ़ो आगे बढ़ो. So previous version of the bill. So the finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji also introduced the previous version of the bill in the February, and later on the bill is introduced referred to the select committee of the parliament, and they have recommended few changes. So after accommodating the changes, so it is being introduced in the Lok Sabha. Okay, and the bill had 2.59 lakhs word compared to the 5.12 lakhs. So that means we can see bill is simplified version, reduce the lengthy and breadth of it. Okay, of the Income Tax Act. So it brought down to 30. So the chapter, it is brought down the number of chapter in the law to 23 from 47 and number of sections to 536 from 819. So not only reduce the number of chapter, but also reduce the number of section. If the law is very simple, very small, so it is very easy to enforce. Now, so in order to provide greater clarity, bill has increasing the number of tables to 57 from 18. If there is a more number of tables, more number of clarification, simplification, it is going to helpful a lot. Okay. So next is in search operation. Apart from the bill has changed, new bill has also tweaked the power of income tax officials during search and seizure. So during search and seizure of any house, the income tax officials also have the power to access your mail account, digital account. It can be Facebook, it can be Instagram, but some people accuse that this can lead to the violation of your privacy. So your privacy is a right to fundamental right under Article 21, which you can see under the Kutaswamy judgment. So Kutaswamy judgment, Supreme Court held that right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21. Please note down UPSC multiple occasions they ask same thing. So recently, I think I've seen the Article 20, right to privacy include under which article. So this is what given under the Kutaswamy judgment. So you can see here. So this provision is arbitrary and give excess power to the authority, and there is every chances of misuse this provision and ultimately infringing right to privacy of an individual guarantee in the constitution. So it is which article of the constitution? Article 21 of right to life. Okay. So this is what also upheld by the Supreme Court in Puttaswamy cases. So tax bill passed without debate. Kiran Rijiju says government will take off important bill. So you can see about so many important bill is passed in the parliament without proper debate and discussion. So that is what led to the, you can say, the bill are implemented without much opposition. Then only we can see our bill are not going to create positive result. Na? So the opposition member continue to their protest in Lok Sabha on Monday. Two crucial bill passed taxation without debate. So income tax bill and taxation law bill Lok Sabha when no opposition member were present in the house. So you can see that the government is only implementing without opposition, which is against the democratic principles. Okay? So we are also passing few laws. Lok Sabha also passed National Anti-Doping Amendment Bill. So what do you mean by doping? Some sports person, they might consume some drug to improve their performance. So which is against the spirit of the sport. So that is the reason if anyone is found they consume some substance, so in that case they will be banned from sporting events. So next one is National Sport Governance Bill 2025. This bill also introduced when opposition member were not in house. And why we have taken so much step in the sporting sector? Because we are planning to host the Olympic. So dear student, tell me in the comment box when India is planning to bid for the Olympic. Which Olympic India is planning to bid for? Let me see how many of you know that. So during discussion, I'm going to give you a lot of tasks. So please answer that. So in the coming days, when India is going to bid for Olympic, it is important that our sport ecosystem is robust, transparent, and accountable. This is crucial step in this direction. Okay, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So Indian Sri Lankan Coast Guard vow to better maritime partnership. Recently, both the Coast Guard of India and Sri Lanka, they are agree to cooperate with each other so that they can take steps, like you can see your discussion on focus on maritime pollution, response, maritime search and rescue, maritime law enforcement, and expanding capability building. Dekho, this is what very important whenever you are writing about, what are the area of cooperation between India and Sri Lankan navies. So you can talk about these are the area. Both sides, they reaffirm their commitment to address the contemporary maritime challenges and promoting safety, security, environment, and protecting the shared water. So that is what India's concern. No doubt, we want our neighbor to grow, prosper, but yet we need to ensure that it should protect our interest as well. The next is the Indian Air Force chopper in Operation Sindoor flag past the Red Fort during our independent celebration. So our Independent Day celebration is happen in the Red Fort. You can see here. So in this this year celebration, we avoided all the Chinese made equipment and make sure that there is proper security of this equipment. So Indian citizen in UK prison now eligible for deportation while asylum appeal active. देखो, now what if any Indian person they are lingering in the UK prison, so they can deport to Indian prisoner. So after changes law brought by the UK. So forced blow of the cab used by the terrorist as hideout in the Kishtwar. So this is what very much important for your internal security. You should know about what kind of operation. No need to go in detail about it. Know about what kind of security operation going on, what kind of challenges, new threat we are facing. So for that, you need to know about it. So they are on the lookout for two terrorists. So they are hiding. So that is the reason we have blowed off. So opposition MPs condemn the Israel military action in Gaza. So no, it is not only our opposition, even all over the world, people are opposing about the Israel action. So because of Israel action in last 22 months, so they've killed 60,000 people, and out of them, most of them are civilians. Yes, very good. Onimus Amresh Patel, you are right. India is bidding for 2036 Olympic. You are absolutely right, and thank you for giving this answer. So, member of parliament from the opposition on Monday condemned the ongoing Israel military campaign in Gaza and called for independent statehood in the Palestine. Okay. So, dear student, I think from tomorrow onward, while I'm teaching, I'm going to put here some, the questions, from some MCQ questions from the current affair. If I'm giving a topics, then I'll put here. You just have to tick. Okay. Poll option I'll create so that it is going to make the discussion very interactive so that you will listen. After completion of one chapter, I'll put one question. So, will the rule-based international order survive uh, during the Trump presidency? So, you know that the rule-based international order, that means after World War II, we have seen the devastation of the World War. So, we have established so many institutions. So, USA started a Marshall Plan under which it is providing funding to the European Union and all over the world. Later on, it is established World Bank, IMF, WTO to ensure that there should be follow a rule-based international order. Initial days, this is going to helpful. This is helpful for the USA to enforce their control over the all over the world, because this rule-based international order help USA to grow, prosper, force the country to open up their market for their goods. But now, whenever USA is facing threat from now from China, India, other emerging nations, so USA is not listening this the global order. It is withdrawing from the global order. It can clearly seen the USA withdrawal from the UNESCO, and it is not listening the WTO, and it is threatening to leave all this organization. So in this backdrop, so we can see our international order is at the threat. So this can be a very good message for India. Instead of we should diversify our negotiation. We need to engage with multipolarity, be that Quad, SCO, BRICS, so that we can have multiple options. So instead of letting either USA or China to make the global rule, we can make the rule, we can play the leading role in the rule making. Now our economy is the fourth largest economy, and very soon we are going to be the third largest economy. So if we are going to maintain that tag, that status, so we need to act very fast. Okay. So just read it, you'll understand. So this is very much important about you can say about role of India at the international level. So what are the challenges that India is facing in rule-based international order, and what are the democratization of international institutions. So these are the things you need to know. Yes, yes, very good, very good. So Seher Firdaus, you are right also. So next is, what will be the impact of Google antitrust case? So let me explain it in very detail so you'll understand very well. So what happened, in your Play Store, in your mobile, so you know that already Google installed some of the application. They have pre-installed it in your mobile application. The moment you open it, you'll find that you cannot delete the YouTube, you cannot delete the Chrome from your mobile. Also the Google is dominant player in your Android. There it is forcing you to pay only use the Google Pay, and if you are using Google Pay, you have to Google Pay charging huge amount of money as a commissioning, and it is not letting other the other intermediary to have the access to this payment gateway. So that is the reason. Recently, the Competition Commission of India initiated a case against the Google for imposing such kind of exploitative practice and monopoly practice. That is what harming the customer, and it impose a huge fine. It impose a huge amount of fine of around 9,000 crore. You can see here it is imposing 9,036 crore. But the appeal from the Competition Commission of India lies with national Na Competition Commission of India appeal lies is National Law Appellate Tribunal, NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal. So the NCLT recently reduced the fine amount to 2,216 crore. Okay. So I'm just reading it out. You can understand. So Supreme Court admitted the appeal filed the Alphabet Industry, the parent company of the Google, against the judgment of the National Company Law Tribunals. So the tribunal had earlier offered the Competition Commission of India, finding Google has abused its dominant position in Android ecosystems to indulge in anti-competition practices. So anti-competition practices means you are misusing your dominant positions to kill the competition, not allowing other player to enter into this domain. And if you are the single player, then you can exploit the customer and make huge amount of profit, which is against the ethical principle. You can give this example of anti-competition is unethical practice, ethics example. You can use this, give an example, economy also. Whenever there is lack of competition, then customer will suffer. You will get low quality of service at high price. Okay, so Competition Commission of India finding the abuse of dominant position. So after that, Google filed appeal in the National Company Law Tribunals. Okay, so Competition Commission investigation in Google began in 2020, sparked by from the app developer industry group that Google has using its market dominance in Android to push its own service and restrict fair competition. So if you are using Android, you are not letting other service to be used. Na? So that is what. So the commission conclude that Google has engaged multiple anti-competition practice. Chief among them was mandatory use of Google Play Bill System. Google Play Bill System. So that means you have to use only Google Play Bill System. Then next is uh, from purchase from the App Store. So next is developer has to use Google Payment Processing System, paying a commission 15 to 30%. You are forcing someone to use only my payment system, and you have to pay 15 to 30%. That means it is the Google who is determining amount of money customer have to pay. So next is Google exempted, its own app YouTube from this billing requirement, giving them cost advantage over the competitive service. For YouTube, this is not applicable. So so next is Android licensing model requires smartphone maker to pre-install Google Suite app, for example, search, Chrome, then YouTube. So these applications are pre-installed. So that is the reason. So they are preventing. For other, they have to list, they have to upload, but here it is all inbuilt in your Android. So after finding that, Competition Commission imposed fine of 936. So they are now appealing. So in case of Competition Commission of India, so appeal lies in National Company Law Tribunal. So after their appeal, it is going to Supreme Court. So now the National Company Law Tribunal uphold whatever was said by the Competition Commission of India. Now it is referring to the Supreme Court, and Google is hoping that they go. India market is not a small market. Whatever happening in India, it is going to have wild repercussion. If in India, Google is making fine or Google is giving fine, so same will happen all over the world. Each and every country, they will demand same amount of fine from the Google. So Google is making very hard appealing in the Supreme Court to ensure that there should not be any fine, so that it will not pay any amount at the international level. So these two factors are very important. So number of centrally protected monuments and site under Archaeological Survey of India increase. So 3,600 India has over 3,000 centrally protected monument site under the Archaeological Survey of India. This is what said. So this data you need to remember, because whenever you are writing about culture, you are writing about monuments, you are writing about art and culture, you can quote that examples. So number of manuscript digitized by the government since 2003. So it is 3.5 lakhs manuscript are being. Manuscript means something is written in the ancient text. So that is what called manuscript being digitized. So next important article is USA criticism of India for trade with Russia. Factual but illegal. So illogical. So if you look into that, USA recently accused India of buying huge amount of oil from the Russia, and in return because of that, it is imposing sanction. But this article is analyze how it is not the India, even the European Union, they are depends on the Russian energy. Even the USA, they themselves involved in the trade with the minerals, the trade with the fertilizer, trades with the nuclear uranium energy. So you can see about it. So this is what the double standard they are following. Okay, and the Donald Trump is also commenting that India buying the oil from the Russia is fueling the Russian killing in the Ukraine. But what about the Israel? It is the 80% of the Israel weapon they are from the USA, and Israel last, you can say, 2 year killing more than 60,000 people, and What about the human right? What about, the Western double standard? They simply silent there. Na? So that is what the news. Just read it, you'll understand. Already I have highlighted it. So, assuaging the concern, vehicle owner deserves support on ethanol blended fuel. So recently, our Ministry of Road Transport and Highway give more emphasis to the ethanol blending. So why ethanol blending? So already you know that India import around 85% of its oil and 55% of its gas from international market. So if we are blending some ethanol, let's say 80% is petrol and 20% of ethanol, so it is going to save around 10 billion rupees. So 10 billion rupees is going to our farmer, and our farmer is going to benefit. It is also save our international currency. It is also reduce our dependency on the international market. But problem is that there is a concern that if you are blending 20% ethanol, so that might create trouble for your vehicle. So vehicle might damage. Second one is the ethanol is having less calorific value. So if you blend ethanol, so your mileage will reduce. So that is the concern, and we need to design our system in a such a way that we need to have everything in a perfect shape. For example, we can properly manufacture the ethanol, then we can blend it properly, then we can use it properly. So we need to also provide subsidy to our people also. So bring them home. India must have norm to keep sacred relics being sold. So in India, so many manuscripts, so many the idols being stolen from the India, and it is being found in different museum all over the world. So why this is happening? Because in India we don't have dedicated police force that deals with art and artifacts from the India. Second one is we don't have record of all these artifacts. That is the reason. So we are finding our artifact being sold in different part of world. So you can see recent repatriation of the Piprawa relics, which were excavated in 1898 from the stupa in Uttar Pradesh, marked as an important episode in Indian cultural diplomacy effort. So after our intervention, so we have stopped the auctioning of that Buddha image, and later on we repatriate back these monuments to India. So why this is happening? Because we don't have dedicated adult wing at the national level. Though the state like Tamil Nadu government, they have their dedicated adult, dedicated wing for the, this artifacts. There is a dedicated wing for finding cases or investigation about any selling of artifacts. So there is a person, Subhas, I think something related to. So that person is involved in so many criminal activity. So later on, that person is nabbed also. So at the national level, we need to have a artifact wing of police, or you can say CBI can give an additional power with more manpower, so they can deal with this artifact. Second one is we need to create a inventory of everything, like what kind of artifact is available in India. So that in case of missing, we can clearly give this evidence that this is our artifact. It is being stolen, so that we can repatriate them from all over the world. And second is we need to analyze. We need to have severe penalty for those who are involved in the trading of such artifact or art from the India. So next is a court ruling with no room for gender justice. देखो, this article is not much important, but what is important for us, we need to know about how the violence against women at the this the family, within the family is deal with, which section is deal with it. So in many marriage, the women suffer great level of inequality. Apart from the being discriminated against and stereotyped, they also face the harassment, violence, including torture. To address the violence in domestic place, Parliament brought a law, Section 498. So whenever you are talking about domestic violence, women empowerment, so you can talk about the Section 498 IPC. It was there, so now it is being repealed with 85, Section 85 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So that penalized cruelty against the woman by a husband or relative with imprisonment, 3 years and fine. Cruelty is defined with wider enough to include dowry harassment, driving women to suicide, or injury, health, and life. So this is what the law. So if you know this, then you can talk about legal provisions to deal with violence against the women. Okay. So I think this is what most important. No need to go in detail. Okay. So next is reviving civil engagement, reviving the civil engagement in healthcare governance. So why in India so many corruption, and there is attitude is not people centric, because people don't involve in the daily governance. So that is what the main problem. To overcome that, this article is talking about we need to involve the community in health service. Okay, so that will improve delivery of our healthcare, will ensure that doctor are accountable and doctor also understand the need and responsible towards people. So we need to make our medical system bottom up approach, which is clearly seen in National Rural Health Missions. Okay, so this article is talking about all these things. So please read it, you'll understand. So dear student, we will have to end our discussion here. So dear student, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel. And we are planning to have this discussion early in the morning. So you can think of around 8:30. I'm planning to start 8:30, around 8:30. So gradually we'll fix 8 to 9. So morning 8 to 9, so that before 9 you'll get everything. So after discussion, please go through this PDF. You can complete everything in 1 hour. Just watch this video and complete this PDF. So 1.5 hour is more than enough to watch this video and read this newspaper. You'll get a lot of insight gradually. You can also scan this QR code to join our Telegram. There we are also providing daily mains questions, lot of MCQ from the current affairs. So you can practice, so that at the daily 5 question we are providing 5 into, let's say, 300 day. So you'll get 1500 MCQ. Also, we are providing MCQ in YouTube's in our website. So you'll get a lot of thousands of MCQ at the year end. That is what going to help you a lot. Chaliye dear student, I'll have to end our discussion here. So, bye bye. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.